Hey everyone, it's Justin again. We've been learning about domain and domain restrictions, but how does that relate at all to real life? Well, in this video, we're going to be exploring some situations in which the domain is restricted to only certain values. You actually encounter domain restrictions every day. Life is full of scenarios that only utilize certain inputs or outputs. For instance, the numbers on a die and the probability of rolling each one. Probability of something happening depends on what the event is. So which side of the die is rolled is the input, and the probability is the output. The domain is based on the inputs. So what are the possible inputs, or in other words, what numbers can we roll? On a regular six-sided die, you can roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Nothing above 6, nothing below 1. And no decimals or fractions. We would consider this a discrete function because we can list and count how many inputs are possible. It's interesting to note that because this deals with probability, the range of outputs is also restricted. Probabilities are always naturally restricted to between 0 and 100%, so this problem has both a domain restriction and a range restriction. Smartphones are priced between $150 to $800, depending on how old the model is. The store doesn't stock any that are more than 10 years old. The price of each smartphone model depends on its age, which makes the age the input. If the age is the input, then what's the domain? We were told the store won't stock anything older than from 10 years ago, so the ages of all the phones in the store are less than or equal to 10 years old. Visually, here's a representation of the phone's ages. Wait, hold on a second. What do negative ages mean? What did a negative age mean? It's from the future? I doubt the store sells phones that don't exist yet, so we're going to need to fix our domain. Instead of going forever to the left of 10, we just need it to stop at 0, the age of a phone that just released. So our actual domain should look something like this. The age of a phone could be 0 years old, 10 years old, or anything in between. So how would we write this domain? The age of the phones is between 0 and 10. You go to the grocery store to stock up on frozen meals. The number of meals you can buy depends on how much money you have. Just like the previous examples, it's pretty easy to tell what the input is here. It's how much money you have that decides how your shopping trip is going to go. So what's the domain? Well, we probably aren't at the store unless we have a little something, so our money must be more than $0. If we had no money, we wouldn't be shopping. Is there an upper limit to how much money we can have? Not really. Sure, it's unlikely that you have $12 billion, but it's still possible. So $12 billion is in the domain, just like $1 or $5. So that's the only domain restriction here. You have to have more than $0. See if you can recognize a domain restriction in your own life. In the next lesson, we're going to find out why domain and range are such important concepts. We can use them to tell us what is and isn't a function. See you then.